Show your pride for Ken and Willie Anderson's Hall of Fame candidacy with our exclusive t-shirt. Featuring a bold design, this shirt lets you celebrate two football legends. Plus, 30% of proceeds go to the Ken Anderson Alliance and Willie Anderson Lineman Academy. Wear your support and make a difference today.
Hello and welcome into Talking Bengals. We are here discussing the third Bengals victory of the year. Fireworks if we had any. But we have a very low budget, so we can't afford fireworks on the show. But the Bengals did get a big win against the Browns. The first time Zach Taylor has won in Cleveland, so obviously that also means the first time that Joe Burrow has won in Cleveland. So that is a great stat to start off with. And I got Nick joining me tonight. This is Talking Bengals Classic, as we like to call it, when it's just Nick and I on here. Nick, how you doing?
Doing all right, Casey. How you been doing, man?
It is another day in paradise. We'll just say that. Life is great.
Beer's good. And people are crazy.
Touche.
Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkinbengals@gmail.com. So
we'll jump right into the game recap this week, and it's going to be our Cheers and Jeers section, and I will let you go first, my good sir.
I'm going to say cheers. Our defense 2 weeks in a row coming out and showing out. I would say jeers. Brown went down with an injury again on that left tackle, man. That's huge. He's a really big component to our offense, especially being able to protect Burrow's backside. There's just not a really good viable backup right now. So I'd say my jeers is that.
Yeah, Cody Ford did okay. I mean, he did what you would expect from a backup. Not the worst he could have done, but, a backup level of play. You'd prefer to have Brown out there. He was a limited participant, which, we'll talk a little bit more about when we get to our injury section. But my cheers and jeers, Chuck Sizzle. That's got to be my cheer right there. Charlie Jones, electrifying touchdown to start the game, set the tone, and honestly, that's the only thing the Bengals really had going for them in the first half offensively. It wasn't even on offense. It was just a quick kick return touchdown. But they looked very spotty in the first half. Not really great. So that really gave them a boost that they needed. Did not make them play from behind at any point in the game, which is a key to beating Cleveland. Don't let Cleveland get a lead on you. They're a bad team, so don't give them any confidence. Make them work for everything they have to get and put them in a hole, and that's what they did with Chuck Sizzle. Jeer, man, the offense, inconsistent. You had great plays. I mean, T. Higgins, beautiful plays. Jamar Chase, beautiful plays. Great touchdown catches, but spotty. It was not very consistent at all. I mean, that's a game you could have won by 25, 30 points, easily, and you just did not overcome yourself. You kept making issues. You didn't turn the ball over, which is good, but not overly impressive against a Brown defense that I did not think really looked that great. They did fine, but they weren't any better than the Bengals defense. So you should have been able to put up more points than they did. But take the victory. We're overall happy. This is a happy episode of the show because it was a win. They're clawing their way back out of the basement. They're now 3-4. They're one game under 500. And to quote a wonderful and awesome movie that we all love, we won one last week. We won one this week. If we win one next week, that's called a winning streak. It has happened before. So hopefully the Bengals can bring us one of those. That is exactly what we are looking for this week, is a winning streak. So please give it to us. And that'll move us on into our wonderful injury updates. On the injury thing, we already talked about Orlando Brown Jr. was a limited participant today in practice. You know what? That's good news. I don't know what you're thinking. Anything else? I mean, we'd like him to be a full participant, but hey, I'll take limited. What are your thoughts?
I think limited participant at least is good. That means that maybe it was just a tweak to what was his knee. So maybe it's just a tweak and he's just kind of slowly getting back to it and, getting back into speed. We'll see how it plays out this weekend, though. I don't know that I would be very I would not be very certain that he's going to be playing a whole bunch on Sunday.
Yeah, optimism may not be there yet. we'll go with our favorite term, cautious optimism. No, we'll say maybe. Cautious.
Cautious
Exactly.
optimism. Okay.
Cautious optimism. There's cotton balls in my mouth. Leave me alone. Cautious. But
Podium Automotive is a proud sponsor of Talkin Bengals. In Greater Cincinnati, it's Podium Automotive for all your auto needs. Skilled technicians, quality service you can trust, and fair price. Tell us Talkin Bengals sent you and get 5% off all services. Schedule your appointment today on Facebook at Podium Automotive or call 859-869-0097.
in other injury news, Geno Stone did not participate today. We know his x-rays came back well, or MRI, whichever they did for him on that one. Came back well, didn't have any breaks. So that's good news. Everybody else that was on the injury report, Chris Jenkins has been there, Joe Burrow's been there. They're both full participants. Trey Hendrickson did not practice for a personal reason. So we don't know. It's not our business. We let him do what he needs to do. It's personal. But overall looking healthy. So I wanted to shift gears a little bit on this one. Did the Bengals, and I don't want to talk bad about injuries for players or anything, no matter how much of a bad human being I may think they are, but did the Bengals do the Browns a favor by getting rid of Deshaun Watson?
It's not even anything the Bengals did, though. He just dropped back and Achilles popped. That was
that's
gross.
Did they do them a favor by being in his vicinity and like somehow, the bad luck of the Bengals for this season just pop right to him?
Casey, he did the 5-step drop pop on his freaking Achilles. That was so gross. I looked at I was watching the game with the wife, and she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "Oh, the Browns quarterback just went down. It looked bad." And then they showed the replay, and on the replay you could just see the pop. And I was like, "Oh, that's the Achilles." And she goes, "Oh yeah, it is."
It's the fear of Trey Hendrickson. That's what it had to be. Trey Hendrickson, Sheldon Rankins were just going to come at him. So his Achilles is like, I give.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know that it had anything to do with anything other than just sheer dumb luck.
I bet maybe it was maybe the Browns put a curse on him. Because I know the coach and the players probably, they went over and they showed their support. They did, the humane thing to do for a teammate. But I can't imagine too many of them were that upset, honestly.
From what I hear, the Browns fans were cheering.
He's been a dumpster fire. And not that the other two people that came on the field, who's the guy that replaced him initially?
Thompson something.
Yeah, I'd never heard of that dude. And I was like, I thought they had Jameis Winston. And he came out later in the game. And I was like, okay, well, apparently they don't have any quarterbacks that can play football. But, yeah, you're welcome, Cleveland. The fear of Trey Hendrickson and Sheldon Rankins just made his Achilles go, pop. You're welcome. We're here for you. The team from Kentucky, as all the Cleveland people keep saying. But sure, we're not going to take offense to that on this show. We're from Kentucky, so sure, okay. You want to call them the Kentucky Bengals, the Kentucky Reds? It's better than being from Cleveland.
Anything's better than being from Cleveland. Well, on to the next topic.
Yep. Moving on. Before we get into a massive fight with the Browns fan base and the Guardians fan base, they didn't make the World Series. So, anyways, man, a lot of Cleveland hate today.
The Cleveland
Trivia.
Indians. I don't know why they changed the name. Back to trivia.
Check out the latest Bengals gear with Season Enterprises with our Boo Day and Sunday Fun Day tees and sweatshirts. Check out Season Enterprises on Etsy or talkinbengals.com to keep the whole family in style this fall.
And back to live action here on this show. So trivia. We're going to do a little bit of rapid fire back and forth since just the two of us on here, since everybody else had to bail because they had life happening. I'll let you go first with the trivia question.
All right, this isn't a trivia question, but did you see the Steelers game with Carl Pickens' son? And they ran the Pickens play.
Not his son.
Whatever. They're related somehow, I would assume. But dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. Just seeing the way that he caught the ball in the end zone, that was That was one. Here's my one word. That was one hell of a catch, man. That I hate the Steelers, but props to him on that catch. He's going to be one piece of the puzzle that we're really going to have to look out for when we play the Steelers.
Yeah, he's definitely a quality receiver when he's not busy crying about not getting the ball enough. So maybe we should get his head.
Trivia.
Trivia.
When did they demolish? What was it? Synergy Field.
Now you're making me think here. That's a tough one. 2000. I'm really trying to think. 2003? 2002?
It was close with 2003 as well. December 29th, 2002.
See, I kept thinking they did it on New Year's Eve. I thought they took it down at midnight. Yeah, I don't know why in my head though. I thought they took it down at midnight. And I was like, oh, okay, I did it New Year's Eve. Oh, dang it, so close. All right, let me get you with one here. Oh, you should know this. Let's see. 1996 Bengals. They played a game against the Baltimore Ravens at the before mentioned Synergy Field. And the game came down to a 4-down stop at the goal line. And the Bengals won the game. The Ravens ran the ball 3 times and then passed it. What is the name of the Bengals player that tackled the guy at the half-yard line?
Ooh.
You've watched this video enough. You should know.
Oh my gosh. It wasn't Ashley Ambrose, was it? Takeo
Nope.
Spikes?
Nope.
Brian Simmons.
Nope. Those are all 2000s Bengals, except for Ashley Ambrose.
I don't know why I'm blanking on this. Hold on a second. It was a cornerback, wasn't it?
Nope, it was a safety.
Now you say that, and I can't think of it. So I knew it was a defensive back. I just couldn't remember what position he played. Give me a hint.
His first name starts with S.
You're gonna tell me, and I'm gonna lose it because I know who it is.
You give up?
What was his number?
35.
Go ahead. Tell me who it is so I can hate myself.
Sam Shade.
God. How do I forget that name? Anyways.
It was a fun name, too.
I know. That's the worst part. Because I remember you were probably there. I was watching it on TV with my dad.
Yeah,
that was back when we had the old box TV.
Yep. Oh, good old times.
Yeah, the real tube televisions.
Go up there yeah, your turn for a trivia question.
Okay. What year did they rename Riverfront to Synergy?
Oh, God. Now you're hitting me with all kinds of stadium questions. These are hard.
I still call it Riverfront. It'll never be Synergy to me.
And see, I'm probably going to be off by a year or two again.
We're alive.
Oh, I know we were alive. 1990. I always go with your first gut instinct, even though it's probably wrong. 1993. 1995.
You're getting warmer.
96.
Yeah, it was around my birthday in 96. That's the only reason why I remember it. I remember right around my 7th birthday, it was like, oh my gosh. I was like, why are they renaming it? It's Riverfront Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like they renamed Paul Brown to Paycor. It's still Paul Brown Stadium.
Still PBS.
Yeah, I don't care. But no, that one I couldn't remember. I remember being a kid and going to Riverfront, but I couldn't remember when it switched from Riverfront to Synergy.
Yeah, I was actually sad when I heard they called it Synergy because Synergy Field sucks. What a terrible name. No
Side
wonder we were such a bad baseball team and football team during the 90s.
Yeah, definitely going on a side
Anyways.
quest here. But there's only like a few stadium names that sound good. And we have one in Cincinnati, Great American Ballpark. Even though it's an insurance company that sponsors it, I hope they always have the naming rights because it sounds like a baseball stadium, does it not?
It does.
Yeah, everything. But if you called it and changed it to, Charles Schwab Stadium or Fidelity Stadium, it's not going to sound right. Great American Ballpark sounds like a baseball field.
Or Allstate Stadium or Allstate Ballpark. We're in good hands.
Yeah. Ooh, just no. There's so many names that are terrible for stadiums. I mean, Paycor could be worse. At least it's a local company.
Yeah.
So you can give them that much, a local company. Trivia question for you. Trying to keep it to where stuff you should definitely know. Let's go with a tough one here. So, man, I'm trying to think of a tough one. Okay, so we'll stick along the lines of random defensive backs that you should remember. Who was the Bengals defensive back who got burned really bad in the 2005 playoff game against the Steelers?
God. Dre wasn't around yet, was he?
And he's a corner, so no. I'll give you a hint. His number was 34, and he was from Southwest Atlantic Ocean was his college. Florida Atlantic, sorry. Florida A&M Atlantic or something. It was a tiny little school. I just remember that.
24 was Delta O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Picture his face too. I liked him, but I couldn't. I liked him. But I couldn't believe he got freaking burnt like that. I'm going to give up because I'm blanking. I've had a long day.
Kevin Casevaharn.
I love Kevin Casevaharn. Man, he got burnt so bad that day. That wasn't even the only one that he got burnt on either.
It was 2 or 3 plays that game. It was a bad game for him.
They were really bad days, where he actually got that was a really bad day where the plays that he got burnt on really burnt us.
Torch like a bad piece of toast.
Yeah, it was bad.
Got one more question from each of us, then we'll move on to our preview.
All right. We're going to do a
Googling questions.
Let's do random.
So I was about to say, you're going to give me another stadium question?
Who was the first baseman for the Cincinnati Reds when they won the World Series against the A's when they swept them?
The one who caught the final one was Todd Benzinger. He caught the final out of the World Series.
The first baseman.
He was the first baseman at the moment they won the World Series.
Played first base the whole series, except for that play.
No one played first base the whole series because Todd Benzinger played first base for part of the series.
Oh my gosh! Whatever. I was thinking of Hal Morris.
That's what I'm saying, but if you gave me a second, I was going to say, but you also meant Hal Morris.
I meant Hal Morris, the guy with the helmet.
When they won the World Series, and that right. I gave you the answer for when
Hal Morris, hands down, one of the best first basemen to ever play for Cincinnati.
And he didn't even get to be on the field to win the World Series. It was Todd Benzinger.
He was on the team, and he was a big reason why they won. So
I'm just had to get you on that one.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So, which Reds player, since we switched it up on this one, got the ban on facial hair revoked?
Ooh. Give me a time frame.
90s.
90s?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Wasn't Barry, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Was it an infielder or outfielder?
Outfielder.
Oh, I'm screwed. I can't remember outfielders.
You wouldn't know anyway, probably, because we were fairly young. He played a significant role on the last Reds team to win a playoff series.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I'm not really good with outfielders, especially like early to mid 90s.
Greg Vaughn.
And
he really, I think, only played for the team for a year. He was a big free agent acquisition, and that was one of his stipulations: is I'm not playing if I have to shave. So, Marge Shaw's
I like it.
Fine.
I like it.
One.
I like it.
Take your career to new heights with Constructive Curiosity. Whether it's career coaching, mental performance training, or business management consulting, Constructive Curiosity has the insight to get it right. Visit constructivecuriosity.com to get started today.
Moving on into football stuff once again. The Eagles and the Bengals. This one looks to me like it could be a shootout. Both teams' defenses are meh. So it could be a shootout, or it could be just what we've seen the last couple of weeks and be a defensive struggle. What are you thinking, Nick?
I don't know. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between defensive struggle and offensive shootout. I think that the Bengals defense I think that we're going to take the momentum from the last couple weeks and move that into the third week in a row. I don't think it's going to be a complete, right? I don't think it's going to be a complete game where they, hold them to one or two scores. I think there's going to be some scoring opportunities for the Eagles. But I think that the Bengals are going to come out with some big stops. I think they're going to come out with a couple turnovers. But I think that the main point is going to have to be Joe Burrow on point this week.
They're pretty well balanced. I mean, as far as you look at their points per game are about 22. Their points against them for the opponent, 19. So they're not world beaters, but they're also not terrible defense. So it could just be a great game. I mean, it's kind of funny. I know they got flexed out of the prime time, like national game at 4:30 for the Bears and the Bears and the Commanders, which to me, the Bears, really? You want to showcase the Bears? But, oh well. It's not my decision to make. 1 o'clock's fine with me. But it should be a tight game. It should be very close. I feel like I don't think anyone's going to blow anyone out. And if they do, not good. But Bengals are picked as a favorite currently, but they're picked to lose by a lot of the analysts. So it should be interesting to see what happens. I'm not sure. It's just a game where the key to the victory, I like what you talked about. The defense has got to stay strong and Burrow's got to play well. Which may be the most mad response we've both ever had to this.
Really need to cage Jalen Hurts and not allow him to get out of the pocket.
Make him worried. Make him have to throw the ball.
You need to come at him from all sides. Mm-hmm. Need to have at least 4 guys rushing him at all times.
Come at him aggressive. Play hard. But
attack.
So our Talkin Bengals challenge question, we unfortunately did not have any winners last week. The Bengals total offense was like 223, which is way lower than anybody guessed, including the 4 of us that were on the show last week. Yeah, we don't know. The Bengals just don't want you guys to get a free T-shirt. Blame them. We are totally willing to give you guys a free T-shirt of your selection, whatever T-shirts we have on the site. It could be yours for free. But the Bengals do stuff that doesn't make any sense. So we are, again, going to make this as easy as we think we possibly can. And it's going to be plus or minus 20 yards, total amount of yards given up by the Bengals defense. So we're hoping that someone guesses like 10 and someone guesses like 1,000 because there's got to be somewhere in there they got to be at least within it. So as many people want to vote as possible. You can only vote once. So, put in your guess once. Do it on our Facebook page, Talking_Bengals. If you're on the Twitters, it's Talking_Bengals. Everywhere else, it's Talking_Bengals. Just leave us whatever guess you have. Total defensive yards allowed by the Bengals. Plus or minus 20 yards, you get a T-shirt. If lots of people get within plus or minus 20 yards, the closest person gets a T-shirt. We want to give away merch. Let us give away merch to you.
Here's
Nick,
what I say.
What?
Here's what I say. If you didn't know that you guessed the same as somebody else and you both were the same guess, I'm okay with giving out 2.
Damn. It's almost the season of giving. Here we are, being as giving as we can. So just get out there and guess. If you don't guess, you won't win. So might as well make a guess. Speaking of guessing, what is your guess this week, Nick?
275.
275. I'm going with 310.
310.
That's going to lead us into our other part. We're going to be making some guesses, which I got to put out our thing we got to say every week for our disclaimer. Do not place bets off anything we say you will lose. These aren't even sophisticated wild guesses. These are totally just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks wild guesses. That's about all we got. So what do you feel on for the prediction here, Nick?
So like I said, completely don't look at stats whatsoever. I think we've covered that several times. Ever. I don't look at prior history whatsoever. Like what you're saying, not a sophisticated guess at all. Gut feeling, 33-24 Bengals.
324, I like that. I'm going lower scoring. I'm going with 24-19 Bengals. Don't ask me why 19. I don't think I've ever seen a football game end in 19, but that's what popped in my head, so that's what I'm going with.
You'd have to have a safety in there at some point, or a
Safety,
2-point conversion.
Couple missed extra points. We're mixing this around somehow. Like there's a way to get to 19. It's just not common. But hey, nothing with the Bengals season has been common this year, so might as well take some crazy guesses and see how it works. And that brings us to closing thoughts. What are your closing thoughts for this week?
Closing thoughts, I think keys to the victory this week going to be keeping Jalen Hurts in the pocket and keeping him uncomfortable. And on offense, and we need to establish the run early. We need to establish Chase Brown and Zach Moss early, so that way it opens up the passing game. And once we get up, we need to continue to pound the ball. Run it, pass it. We need to be aggressive, get up as high as we can possibly get on score. Do not let up until the whistle blows when the clock is at 0 after the fourth quarter is over.
Yes, I like that.
Do not stop.
Play to win the game, not to not lose the game. Play to win. I like that. It's a good thought to end on.
Yeah, I mean, just stop piddling around. Stop, kind of tiptoeing around trying to, we're up, so let's not lose the game now.
That's a loser's mentality. You win by winning. Once again, John Madden is coming into this podcast somehow. The spirit of John Madden, God rest his soul, is a wonderful human being, but you play to win the game. You win by scoring more points. So I hope the Bengals score more points than the Eagles on Sunday. Anyway, check us out on all our social medias at Talking_Bengals. We have some awesome merch out there. We are still working on our Jermaine Burton milk carton shirt, because where the heck is this guy? No one knows. It could be up this week. Watch out for that drop. It could be coming. But we'll find him at some point, hopefully, because he's got to learn how to play receiver in the NFL. But he is the new Chris Evans. I guess since Chris Evans got hurt, they had to have another guy that he's on the team. We just don't know whatever happened to him. He just disappeared somewhere. Anyways, that's going to do it for us this week. Check us out. Make your guesses for our Talkin Bengals challenge question. And have a wonderful week, everybody. Hooday.
Hooday. And if there's a fork in the road, take it.
Show your Bengals and Northern Kentucky pride. Get the Talkin Bengals Y'all shirt now. Order today exclusively at talkinbengals.com.